Have you ever stopped to really listen to the voice that lives here inside your head? I'm not just talking about the thoughts that, what you need to buy at the supermarket that day, but the actual tone and the specific words you use when things go wrong in your life. To be honest with you, most of us don't even realize that the way we speak to ourselves is incredibly important because our internal dialogue acts as a script. And this script programs your self-concept, the idea of what you think about yourself. And it directly shapes the reality that you experience every single day. It's a constant stream of thoughts, whether you're conscious of them or not, and it influences your emotions, your physical health, and it also affects your very ability to navigate the challenges that life can throw your way. Now, if you've ever felt like you're stuck in a loop of old habits and patterns, or perhaps you feel like there's an invisible ceiling on what you can achieve, it's highly likely that's because of the internal radio station that you've been tuned into for years. And today, we're going to learn how to change that frequency and rewrite your internal dialogue for good. Now, in this video, you'll learn how your self-talk regulates your emotional resilience and your ability to bounce back from setbacks. The biological link between your thoughts and your hormones. Oh yeah, they're connected. And all about instructional self-talk as well, and how you can apply it to your daily life. We'll check out the science of neuroplasticity and how you can literally rewire the neural pathways of your brain to move from failure to success. You'll also learn a powerful NLP technique, which is called self-distancing. And this allows you to evaluate stressful situations. And finally, in this video, you'll learn how to handle the pushback when your inner critic tries to resist your new positive script. And by the time we finish, you'll have a toolkit of practical strategies to transform that inner critic into a supportive cheerleader.
Envision my life, believing is seeing.
Let's start with your psychological well-being. Now, we often think of our emotions as things that, just happen to us. But the truth is, it's your internal dialogue that controls your emotions. When you use positive self-talk, what you're actually doing is leveraging your brain to shift its focus from the worry of the problem to the action of the solution. This is the foundation of emotional resilience. In other words, it's how quickly you can get back on your feet again and keep moving forwards. Now, just for a moment, I'd like you to think about your inner critic. Now, we've all got one, especially me, and it can be incredibly harsh. In fact, chronic negative self-talk is linked to higher rates of anxiety, stress, and depression. But here's the cool part. When you speak to yourself kindlier and in a more nurturing way, you quite literally change the chemistry of your body in real time. There's a hormonal shift. Within your brain, you've got a chemical factory. And speaking to yourself can boost your serotonin levels, which of course we call the happy hormone. And at the same time, it decreases cortisol, which we know as the stress hormone. Now imagine you're, in a stressful meeting or dealing with a difficult situation at home. Now, if your inner script says to you, "Oh, I'm useless at this," your body then floods with cortisol. You become angry, your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, and your ability to think clearly, that completely goes out the window. But if you could pivot that script, you can physically calm your nervous system down. The thing is that your inner voice can either be a constant source of encouragement or a constant awful critic that undermines your belief in your self-worth. Now, as a hypnotherapist, I see this all the time. The labels we give ourselves become the bars of the prison that we live in. So how do you change the script? Well, Firstly, you need to know what's written on it. And here is a 3-step process to edit your inner voice. Step 1, I like to call the catch. I want you to act like a fly on the wall of your own mind. Every time you feel a dip in your mood, stop and ask yourself, what did I just say to myself? Step 2, the comparison. Once you catch a negative thought, imagine saying those exact words in that exact tone to your partner or your very best friend. Really try to see their face as you speak those harsh words, and then notice how uncomfortable that feels. Step 3, the reframe. Immediately delete the negative thought and replace it with a supportive one. So if you said, "Oh, I'm so clumsy," change it to, "Well, I'm just trying to do things a bit fast right now. I'll breathe and slow down." That simple change in self-talk signals your brain that everything's cool, there's no problem. Now, let's move into how this affects your doing. Self-talk it's a major driver of cognitive and physical performance. Have you ever caught yourself talking your way through a tricky task out loud? I do it loads of times. It's perhaps when you're trying to fix a leaky tap or, I don't know, follow a complex new recipe or something like that. Now, you might have felt a bit daft doing that. But the thing is, science actually supports this. Talking to yourself out loud whilst trying to complete complex tasks can really improve your concentration. It also helps you plan out your actions, and it's a brilliant way to keep you focused on the task. Let me give you another example. In the world of high-performance sports, athletes use what we call instructional self-talk. Let's say a tennis player was serving. They wouldn't say, "Oh, I hope I hit it," or something like that. They'd say, "Throw the ball higher, snap the wrist." What this does is change the focus from the outcome, winning or losing, to the process, which is the technical execution. But this goes even deeper. Scientists discover that optimistic self-talk is associated with better cardiovascular health and a stronger immune system. Your cells are essentially listening to the environment that you create with your thoughts every second of the day. Okay, so when you feel overwhelmed by a task, don't focus on the mountain of work. Focus on each sequential task using these steps. Firstly, think about the one thing making you feel stuck right now. Once you've got that, then move on to the next step, which is take the I and the feeling out of it. So instead of, "I'm really worried about this email," focus on the mechanics of the email itself, which means look at the task through a more mechanical lens. This way you'll bypass the emotional centers of the brain, which are trying to keep you safe by avoiding and delaying a reply. It's basically a way of making an emotionally difficult task feel as simple and as routine as boiling a kettle or putting your socks on. It moves you from a state of emotional paralysis into a state of, well, this is easy. Let's now move on to neurological programming and neuroplasticity. It's probably a word you've heard quite a bit. Now, this is the area that truly excites me as an NLP practitioner. We used to think that the brain was fixed, once we reached adulthood. But now we know that's not true. Through a process called neuroplasticity, your repeated thoughts actually form and strengthen physical neural pathways in your brain. Think of your squishy grey brain like a lush green field in the Derbyshire Peak District, which, by the way, is where I live. And in case you're wondering, yes, it's completely gorgeous. Look at some pictures of it. Now, if you walk across a field in the same spot every day, eventually you'll wear away the grass and you'll create a path. That's how paths are formed. Your thoughts are exactly the same. So if you consistently tell yourself, "Oh, I'm no good with money," You're treading a very deep path in that field. Eventually your brain stops looking for opportunities for wealth because it's been programmed to expect the opposite. This is what's known as a self-fulfilling prophecy. However, there is good news. By using positive affirmations and intentional self-talk, you can activate the brain's reward centers and start walking a new path. Now, at first, the grass will be thick and it will be hard to walk through. But the more you use that new script, the easier it becomes. You're literally rewiring your brain for a more fulfilling life. Let's give you another practical tip. Now, this is a classic NLP technique to lock in a new mental state. Firstly, step 1. Try to think of a time when you felt incredibly confident and capable. Really see what you saw then. Hear the sounds of that moment and feel that surge of energy in your body. Take yourself back in time. Step 2, create a shortcut. Present tense this statement such as, I'm powerful, I'm ready. Then really, really, really feel it. Step 3, as that feeling of confidence reaches its peak in your body, firmly press your thumb and your middle finger together like this and hold it for 5 seconds while saying your affirmation out loud. Step 4, release your finger and thumb and break the state by thinking of something neutral, like what you had for breakfast that morning or the number of windows in your home. Then repeat the process 5 times. You're now anchoring that audible information and the visual memory to a kinesthetic touch. So in the future, simply pressing the finger and the thumb together like this will trigger that feeling of power and confidence. Now in this section, I want to share a technique that can really, really help you when you're in the middle of a crisis. This is called self-distancing. Now when we're upset, we tend to use first-person language. We say, oh, I'm so stressed. Oh, I'm so anxious. I don't know what to do. Now, this makes the emotion feel really heavy and very personal. It's a bit like being so close to a painting that you can only see the brushstrokes and not the whole picture. Now, research has shown that if you address yourself by your own name or the pronoun you, it creates psychological distance. So instead of saying, I'm stuck, try saying your own name instead of I'm. For example, if I were using this on myself, I would say, Nick, you're feeling a bit stuck right now. But you've solved problems like this before, haven't you? By using your name, you're stepping back from the emotion. You become the coach rather than the victim. Now, this trick allows you to evaluate the situation more objectively and manage those negative feelings with a lot less personal pain. Time for another practical tip. If you're facing a particularly tough choice, use this writing exercise to get some perspective. Step 1, describe the problem. Just write down what's bothering you, but don't use the words I or me, as I mentioned earlier. Use your name. For example, Peter's worried about the presentation tomorrow because he wants to do a good job. You get the idea. Step 2, become the objective observer. Imagine you're a wise mentor, someone who's looking down at Peter. What advice would you give him? Just write it down. Peter should remember that he's prepared well and the audience wants him to succeed. Step 3, it's called the release. Now, as you read your advice back to yourself, take a nice deep breath and feel the weight of the problem lifting. Really feel it, make it visceral. And you'll notice that once you see the problem happening to someone named Peter, the solutions become much more obvious. The next part is called overcoming the inner critic's resistance. And this can be a tough one. One thing that many people notice when they start rewriting their script is that the inner critic often fights back. You might find yourself saying a positive affirmation and then hearing that familiar condescending voice in your head saying, "Come on, who are you kidding?" Now, it's important to understand why this happens. As a hypnotherapist, I know that your inner critic isn't actually trying to hurt you at all. In fact, completely the opposite. It's usually a misguided part of your subconscious that's trying to keep you safe. By keeping you small and critical, it thinks it's protecting you from the pain of failure or from the judgment of others. It's basically a protective mechanism that's simply become overactive. So how do you handle the pushback? Well, when you meet resistance, the secret is don't try to shout down the critic. Most people do. They get annoyed and angry. That only creates more internal conflict and stress. Instead, what you want to do is acknowledge it and then gently move past it. We want to show the critic that we've got a newer, better way of being safe. And this is where we use negotiation with the self. Let's give you some more practical tips on how to do that. This technique helps you integrate the resistant part of your mind so it stops sabotaging your progress. Firstly, step one is to identify the resistance. So when you hear that snidey inner voice, stop and acknowledge it. Say, "I hear you." Step two, then ask the voice, "What's the positive intention for me?" Because there's always a positive intention. I know that sounds really weird and strange, but bear with me, this is vital. Because usually the intent is, "I just want to keep you safe from embarrassment," or whatever it may be. Step three, mentally say to that part of yourself, "Thank you for wanting to keep me safe. I appreciate that." Now, this feeling of gratitude immediately lowers the fight or flight response. Step four, explain the new plan to that part of your mind. You could say, "Now I know you want to keep me safe, and the best way to be safe now is to be confident and well prepared. Can we try this new script today?" Simple as that. And finally, step five, test the feeling. Imagine yourself going through your day with this new agreement in place. If things feel easier and lighter, then you successfully negotiated with your inner critic. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the biology of your thoughts, the power of instructional talk. Also, we've touched on the wonders of neuroplasticity, the magic of self-distancing, and of course, how to handle the resistance of that inner critic. But I think the most important thing I would like you to take away from this is that you're the author of your own internal script. You don't have to be a passive passenger to that old critical voice because you've now got the power and you've also got the tools to silence that self-sabotaging voice. Because let's face it, it's actually only trying to keep you safe. Remember, the way you speak to yourself is the linchpin for everything else in your life. Be kind and be your own best cheerleader. And if you're struggling with any old limiting beliefs or simply feeling stuck right now, then you can reach out for private coaching with my wife and me. You can find all the details in the description. We've helped many people rewrite their scripts and find a happier, more fulfilling path. And we'd be honored to help you do the same. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you found it useful. Keep listening to that inner voice and make sure it's playing the music you want to dance to. Take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next video.
Envision my life.